Good morning. I've been going back and looking at John Wesley recently and reading a little bit about that history again. John Wesley is the founder of the Methodist Church. And most social historians say John Wesley literally saved England from revolution and chaos and war. The 1700s were a really pretty difficult time. You think about it, 1776, America was going through a revolution. 1789, you had the French Revolution. The French Revolution was brought on because there was such a disparity between the rich and the poor. And there were so many people who were hungry and felt displaced and that they felt disenfranchised. That could have easily happened in England as well. But the monarchy wasn't overthrown. They didn't go through revolution. And they look back and say, it's because so much of it of John Wesley. John Wesley would ride more than 250,000 miles on horseback, literally all over England for years and years and years. And what he did was, wherever he went, he started a class. He'd get a group of people together, and he believed they needed to come together during the week and have Bible study. Didn't replace going to church on Sunday. No, during the week they were supposed to get together, and they were going to encourage each other. He called these the classes. You would get together and find out each other's problems. How could you be supportive? You would hold each other accountable. In England, you were going through the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s. Many people were working in the coal mines or working in factories, and they were hopeless. They'd improved the distillation of spirits in that century. That is, they knew how to make a higher alcohol content in gin, and people could get bombed for a penny. Didn't have a whole lot of hope, so alcoholism began to run rampant. And Wesley pulled people together and said, we're not going to be drinking gin. We're not going to be spending our money that away. You're going to get together and give each other a sense of hope. And so the people who came together, who were the first Methodists, were really pretty much the poor. They would come together, and they were still required when they came together to put in a penny, something, to give something. And when they came together in these classes then, he expected 5 things to be happening from the Methodist. He said, first of all, we're going to provide food and clothing to the poor. He wanted to give hope to people. You got to have food. You have to have clothing. And so they were responsible to do that for one another. 2, it was with that money they were going to make micro loans to each other. Today, that's a Nobel Prize winning idea. John Wesley was doing it in the 1700s. You gave micro loans to each other, and then you could go out and buy a hoe and some seed, and you could now plant crops, feed yourself, suddenly have money left over. No, he began to change how they could do it. 3, it would cost money to go to school. And he said every child must be able to go to school. We need to have free education for our children so all children could be learning. 4, he said every adult needs to know how to read. And those who can read, they have to mentor those who cannot read. Illiteracy among adults should not be accepted. We must help one another learn how to read. And 5, you need to provide medical care for each other. He believed in free medical care. Everybody should get the medical care that they needed, that the poor so often didn't get. 5 fascinating ideas by Wesley in the 1700s. And what happened was, when these people became disciplined, when they stopped spending all their money on gin, and they began coming together in the week to encourage and hold each other accountable and be there to raise up support with one another, what happened? The poor became the middle class and the upper middle class. All of these people who were becoming Methodist really found their lives changing, not just their spiritual life, but their economic life and their social standing. And because people were no longer feeling hungry and disenfranchised and without hope, they avoided the social revolutions that took place in France and so many other places. Historians say Wesley literally saved England. And he did it because he believed your faith should really be all about what you do. You and I are part of a family of faith. We're supposed to be here to encourage each other, to help each other, to reach out and be a blessing in the world. Our faith is about truly putting into practice a love for God and a love for one another. I know that you and I can do it together. Together, we have the chance to make a difference in this world. I hope you'll take seriously being involved in the world and finding the ways that you can go out and share God's love and bring hope to all of His children. We're going to make a difference. Have a great day.